Hi everyone, it's Dave here from Band of Badgers. We are at UK Games Expo. We've managed to wrangle some time with ALEX KAMMER. Now, ALEX KAMMER, if you don't know, we've just been having a chat. We've just been having a really old chat. We know everything now. You own 2 pubs. I did not know you own 2 pubs, but there we go. ALEX has come over from the States to check out UK Games Expo. We've got loads of people here. ALEX has been kind enough to spend a few minutes just to have a chit chat with us. And just to ask some questions, have a chit chat. Steve, did you have any questions? You can go up and down, or you can go backwards and forwards. Yeah, you're good. There you go. So Steve, as you know, is behind the camera. We're just going to hang out. It's day 1, but we're here for the press event as well. Huge event. Welcome to the UK, first of all.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad I let you in the country.
Yes.
It was all on me.
The personal visa experience was really something.
It
that
is
was nice. Yeah,
it's the Badger stamp is when you get your passport. That's what we want. That should be something we can do for merch. But we'll mental note of that one. How are you finding it so far? We have sunshine today, which is rare.
Yep.
Even though we're indoors,
Yep.
we have sunshine outside. How are you finding it? Day 1.
Well, this is my first time. I actually run a convention myself and have been to many conventions around the States, but this is my first international one. So being in the UK and sort of see how you guys con is a little different.
So in terms of the day job affecting the hobby, how does that come about?
Sure. Like many busy people, there are a variety of hats that I don on different times of the day. I'm a full-time attorney like yourselves, a dad, have some other businesses, but also run this convention with an odd name called GAMEHOLE CON.
Yep.
The reason it's so named, it's because it was a location in my basement for a long time. It's also the place where I house my collection, which existed for long before GAMEHOLE CON was even a bad idea. And I also find time to do some freelance writing, which is actually the reason why I'm here, to promote a new book that I'm about to release here in the fall. But GAMEHOLE CON came about. I was really struck by when you were telling me before we started rolling the camera about how the Band of Badgers came to be. My friends and I were gaming together for years. We get together once a week and would game. And there was a new local game store that cropped up in our area. And I walked in and looking around like, this is a really cool store. How can we help? And this guy who was running the store said it would be great to have games run here.
Yeah.
If you can use our play space to run games. So I went back to my friends and said, hey, how about we run some games for other people, not just us? And they said, well, okay. And they were kind of lukewarm on it, but what the hell? So we got together and came up with some kind of con one-shot ideas, put it out on a network. I don't think Meetup is a thing anymore, but it was then.
Yeah.
And and these games filled up really quickly. And so we had all these gamers that came to play our games. We thought, man, we could really probably do something more than this. And looking around the room, there are at that point 8 of us and some really talented, clever people, and we could run a big corporation if we wanted to. You know, this is some accountants, lawyers, doctors, all that sort of thing. So I thought, well, let's take a shot at putting together a convention. And because we were not motivated, because we all had jobs already, some of us too, we didn't want it to make necessarily a for-profit venture, so we didn't care about using our actual name, GAMEHOLE CON, instead of like Awesome Con or Kick-Ass Show or whatever. So we started, and much to our surprise, 500 people came the first year, and we have been growing at a kind of absurd rate ever since.
There's definitely some. The pull to a convention I think is massive. Again, we were talking off camera about our own clubs, our own gaming experiences. Band of Badgers, hopefully, as you, the viewer, knows, is a community of players in the local area near Gatwick, and we play all manner of games. I love the feeling, the atmosphere that brings in. But you mentioned like 500 people turned up on the first thing. How were you marketing that at the time, and was you like astonished? Was that
Somewhat.
ticket sales?
Yeah, it was a lot of, quite frankly, shoe leather. That meant going out to local game groups and introducing ourselves, posters, local area. from Madison, Wisconsin. Madison is the state capital of the state of Wisconsin. It is a big university city, the city government, and Madison has a unique fact in that it leads the world in per capita game stores. We have a shitload of game stores there. It just is a very gaming educated place. So it was rife ground, fertile ground for having a game convention. So we had that advantage to start. Also, Wisconsin, as you may know, is where D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, was birthed. So we had a lot of old TSR employees that were very close to where we were. So we had a natural pool of guests. If we told folks like Frank Mentzner, hey, a free hotel room for the weekend, come up and play games, he said sure, because he didn't have anything else going that weekend. So we had folks like that, Jim Ward, folks like that came to our first show. So it gave us a great, a lot of tailwind, a lot of inertia.
I think what is staggering there, we've been able to almost make the writers and artists into celebrities.
Yeah.
And when it's not like a TV convention or a Comic-Con where you've got actors and everything else who are on films and pay loads of money. But it's stuff that has been part of our childhood as we've grown up, and has, no matter what background you come from, if you get into this kind of fantasy life, the people who create the artwork, who create these stories, these rule books, source books, that help us create more worlds, and in fact they become celebrities and well loved, is amazing. I think it's a beautiful thing to happen.
Yeah.
And they're just normal people
right.
as well. They're not, I want to be an actor and I've been in blockbuster movies. They're just, well, I write for a living and you just happen to like what I write. But it shapes people.
Sure.
I love that.
Yeah. It's an interesting phenomenon, especially, we were talking before we started about where we came from gaming wise, and we all have common roots that way. It was that friend who had the thing and showed us the game. And for me, it was in the lunchroom in seventh grade, playing. I was the player, and my friend was the GM of the Keep on the Borderlands. And think, my gosh, I can be a fighter and I can explore the space, and it was, amazing.
That's the universal thing, though. So even though, again, we talked about how D&D takes ages. Things just took ages to come to the UK. It took 4 years for us to get Star Wars. It took 2 years for us to get skateboards. It was 1 year to get Goonies. But that was the 70s and 80s. Now everything's bum, 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 bum. You have it the same day globally, and how things change. I want to come back to writing. Yeah. So we have a mutual friend. There's Alan Patrick out there. Hi, Alan.
Hello, Alan.
You mentioned your new book, but your previous book was Wizards of Fate, Red Wizards of Fate.
Yep.
I picked it up. I bought it on the Drive-Thru RPG or DM's Guild.
DM's Guild, right.
And I got it as the hardback cover. Trick question. Would you sign it for me today? I haven't got it right now, but I know we're playing a game on Sunday.
I would love to. And, going back to your point about people who create things being celebrated, that still is something I'm not entirely used to, quite frankly, is people ask me to sign their things. Like, why would you want me to deface your perfectly good book? But okay, I will, sure. Absolutely.
I think it's again, I used to run a comic shop for 20 years. So when I was working with artists and writers in that arena, you had... if you was to get something signed from Jim Lee, it was you had to queue up for hours. You had to get it, and that was if he was in the UK.
Sure.
But people used to turn up with comic boxes and just go, boom, sign them. It's like, no way. Yeah. And again, I've been talking to some of the other guys and writers who are here as well at UK Games Expo. I'll throw that out there again. Thank you, UK Games Expo, for doing this. I think it's nice. I've enjoyed your game, your writing, your stories so much. Can I have your autograph? Can I have your signature?
I'm deeply humbled by that, and I'd be happy to sign your book. That'd be great. And that was a wonderful collaboration between myself, Alan, and Ed Greenwood.
Ed Greenwood, yeah.
Yeah. So Ed is now. It's bizarre to say this. How things happen over time. And now I know all these people that were, quite frankly, childhood heroes of mine that are friends of mine now. That's kind of stunning. It's so Ed. I've stayed overnight at his house. It just is. It's bizarre, but so the guy who created the Forgotten Realms wants his. We've written a couple books. We did the Border Kingdoms, and now the Fae, the Land of the Red Wizards, and he wants to do more. So it's really cool that I find myself in this space. But Alan Patrick, I asked him to help with Fae because he has done a lot of work with Wizards on the Adventure League content for dealing with Fae. So he brought a wealth of knowledge to that. So I introduced him to Ed, and the three of us wrote one of the more successful releases on DM's Guild ever. It's been tremendously successful, which, again,
I love it. It's a great source book, and also if you haven't checked this out yet, there's a little adventure in there as well. So we're planning to play that. We're hoping to get Alan involved, but we're sorry, Alan. We're hoping to play that. So we've got our band of badges ready. It's a short story. It's great. It's a simple kind of. There's a prison breakout. There's a kind of heist in there, but it's all staying undercover, staying out of other people's ways. I love that. And again, it's something different and something you can play at a convention at one shot. Very, very simple.
That was my main contribution to the book. I'm the adventure writer guy, so that was I have some Fae knowledge, but I mean, when it comes to Alan and then Ed, who literally created the place, I said I have no business creating talking about Fae lore. My other piece was a little bit of the military stuff I did, but the adventure is my main contribution to that book.
So your new book, your upcoming book, The End of Everything.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
We're going to get a sneak peek of this on Sunday, I believe. We're going to get a chance to play this.
I'm looking forward to it.
And are you still kind of writing and game testing this?
No. This is a completed book. Right, so this is, in effect, this weekend here at UK Games Expo, which is outstanding, the chance to give people some previews of it. So Alan and I got together 2 years ago when we started this project. And what we endeavored to do is to write a D&D adventure that brought in elements of the Cthulhu mythos, which is challenging because Call of Cthulhu is not Dungeons and Dragons at all. If you've played both, Dungeons and Dragons at heart mechanically is a superhero game. Characters who can do all kinds of amazing things. Call of Cthulhu, you are a waitress, a professor, a whatever, a janitor, and you are confronted with the mythos and you're trying to hold your brain together. That's really the game. So we have created some mechanics that have a Cthulhu-esque feel to it, but without hopefully distorting the game of Dungeons and Dragons. So you can still be a sorcerer, you can still be a paladin, you can still be a rogue, you can still do all those things as you are confronting and learning things and trying to figure out what the hell is actually going on in this setting.
So, potential spoiler, is it really the end of everything if the players fail?
Yes. It is. If they fail,
no pressure.
This plane, that plane of existence where your characters are ceases to exist. It goes to white.
And this is done on a dice roll.
It shouldn't come down to a dice roll, but it could.
Push the red button or not? I don't know. Can we just fade to black, please?
It should come down to a series of dice rolls where the characters are doing things. So it shouldn't be a coin flip, but it could. I guess in theory, it could. But so we've been working on it for years, and it is now in layout. We're getting some final art. We'll have a finished. I put pen down in January. So it's been, here and there some post edit stuff, but it'll be in crowd funded by Frog God Games as the publisher. It'll be Frog God will publish this, kickstart it, I believe, in the fall.
Wow.
Yeah, because I will certainly send you guys a copy of the PDF as soon as it's ready, well before the Kickstarter. So you can
plus we get to play it anyway, so we get to play a snippet of the game.
Yep.
How big is the book?
Yeah, it's their proprietary setting. It's called the Lost Lands, and it takes place in the west corner of it, called the Haunted Steppes, and it's a massive story that takes place there. So it's a levels 1 through 15 or so campaign, with lots of travel, sandbox-y, but with a very central narrative that takes you from place to place, but you don't have to do it in any particular order. As you unfortunately learn and experience horrible things, and realize that it's going to take a lot of real heroism, courage, comeuppance.
I have that in spades. I'm there.
And you're going to go to a place that sounds horrible and no sane person would, but you will, because you want to save the world, and that's what it is. It has a potential world-ending ending if you do not intervene and put yourselves on the line.
So before we wrap this up, because I don't want to take up too much more of your time,
Sure.
there's a lot to do here. What's next for you this weekend? You're playing games, but are you going to have a chance to do some shopping? Are you networking?
Yeah, not much networking. I will a little bit. I will. Yes, I'm saying hello to friends. It's nice to see. I'm running into all kinds of folks that I knew. Actually, someone from GameHole Con, my convention in the Madison, Wisconsin. Today, Alex, and he had gone to a UK resident and said hello. I'm like, oh, hey, nice to see you. That was cool.
Fantastic.
But so yeah, I'll spend a little time in the exhibition hall. But I'm running games tomorrow. I'm running game on Sunday morning that you guys are in, which is great. Otherwise, I'm going to kick around a little bit before I return home. Late next week.
Fantastic. If you have any questions, this is going to go up on YouTube, by the way. If you have any questions, do let us know in the comments below. I'll send them on to Alex if he has the answers, which he probably will.
Maybe
he'll let us know if he's in the right man to. Until then, do like and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/BrandBadgers. Alex, thank you so much for your time. One day we'll be able to fly over and see you at GameHole Con.
I hope so.
And there's lots going on.
Yep.
Thank you again.
Cheers. Thank you.